today.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. You just talk about the way the offense came out in the second half and the focus and execution you had from that point forward.
Yeah, I mean, we got off of our own feet. Excuse me. We stopped stepping on our toes, making self-inflicted mistakes. Didn't turn the ball over. We're able to get in that rhythm, get back to what I talked about in the past. Our standard and expectation, and pretty much scoring on every drive except the last one, and then the nil possession, going out there and kneeling, and that's what we're capable of doing when we're heightening our focus, executing in between the whistle and just finishing, and that's what we hold. That is our standard, and that's what we're gonna hold each other to. And when we're not doing that in the first half, it's tough, but we understand that. This is the NFL, and it's tough. It's not going to always go our way and always be perfect, but we've got to be committed to each other, committed to our game plan, and just stay at it.
I got to ask, did you think the CD catch was a touchdown, and what did you think of whack-a-mole?
I definitely thought the CD catch was a touchdown. I mean, I went to the sideline, dropped my helmet and everything. So it was an amazing catch, regardless of his feet. His heel came down, out of bounds, or whatever that rule is, just a different rule. Sideline versus end zone, don't quite understand that. A catch is a catch. And then the whack-a-mole was great. The guys told me about it earlier in the week. They were worried about getting fined or getting a penalty. We said, make sure you're up 2 touchdowns, and we got a couple of guys that can help with the fine, so go for it.
Dak, James Hadnot, KSLA News 12. I wanted to ask about the efficiency on third down. The team was so efficient throughout the contest, and why was that so important for you guys in the second half especially?
Yeah, I mean, we're focused. We know this team can give some problematic looks. They definitely got us on 1 or 2 of them early. But then we obviously came into halftime, made some adjustments, blocked some things up, got one-on-ones with our guys, and CD was big on third down, and not just him, the offensive line protecting, and it just goes into us focusing, understanding our job on third down and our responsibility, and then executing, and we're able to do that and get things going, and as I said, got in a roll, and we're able to put some points up consecutively.
To follow up, Michael Gallup was big in the first half on third down, so to see him get back and really kind of become more consistent, what does that say about him and where he's at?
Yeah, I talked about it last week. He's getting his feet back under him, and at this point, I think they're back under him, making a couple of tough catches, one-on-ones. The non-stop early in the first was a huge catch, and then just continuing that all game long, going back to him. He's showing up. That's who Michael Gallup is, and I'm glad he's gained that confidence back. And he's dangerous when he's got all that and it's back.
Dak, Jory Epstein, Yahoo Sports. You never want to have a game where he throws kind of interceptions, but historically y'all haven't won most of the games where you've thrown multiple interceptions. What does it show to be able to come back from that? How important is it to make sure y'all can rebound like that?
Yeah, just understanding, as I've talked about, I'm going to be aggressive at times. Obviously, the first one was a close snap, thinking free play. I knew that it was close, didn't know if the flag came out or not. Tried to make a safer throw to the sideline. Guy just made a great play. I can't necessarily put the team in that position. And then at the end of the second half, just a little bit behind CD, but honestly, in a sense, where I wanted to go with the ball, kind of a bang-bang play. And I mean, most of the time that ball is dropping to the ground. However, it bounces up. Just bad luck on my part. But I've got a risk versus reward. And just it says a lot about the resiliency of the team, of just sticking with it. Defense telling me, hey, we got your back, keep rolling. Offense understanding that those are 2 throws, and we're moving the ball just fine, but we're self-inflicted mistakes. So as long as we didn't do that, I wasn't too aggressive, and then we got the thing rolling.
One more. On that note, the tight ends had 3 touchdowns over 80 yards today. When you think about how they've increasingly become more prominent in the offense, at what point in the season or in the offseason did you realize that was going to be a plan, and how effective has it been?
Yeah, I'd say in training camp. Obviously, having the relationship with Schultz, I guess you can go that into the offseason, realizing how much time we spent together, my trust in him, and then getting into training camp and seeing those young guys take on the responsibility, their roles, and do it with such confidence and eager to give them more and want to make more plays. 2 confident young guys, and they just went out there tonight and showed up. I mean, you've got Ferg jumping over people and making play after play. Peyton on the end around. They're just talented guys, and we've got to keep continuing to get those guys involved. And it's fun. It's fun to see them get that whack-a-mole. I think that just speaks on the personality of the room and how much fun they're having and enjoying their jobs.
Dak, were you aware that you tied Roger Staubach with 10 consecutive victories over the Giants, most with the Cowboys, and I think Sonny Jurgensen or some other older quarterback has the most, tied with 10? And how does it mean to you? Does it mean anything at all, and were you aware of it?
I was not aware of it. I've been very aware that was my only 2 losses my rookie year, and have kept that at the forefront of my mind since. But yeah, I mean, stats are meant to be broken. Stats are that's part of it. That's part of the game. But this isn't just me. That speaks to the defense. That speaks to the offense, special teams. Us as a team, just continuing to lock in on division opponents, understanding what we have ahead of us, knowing that those guys draft and try to combat our offensive line, loading up the D line. It's just special, obviously, just to continue to dominate one team. But as I said, that's not just on me. That's a kudos to this organization, honestly.
Follow-up, vintage Zeke Elliott today. Can you talk about Zeke's game today?
I mean, that's Zeke, vintage or not. I mean, to me, that's Zeke every week. A guy that'll do anything that he needs to do to help this team win, whether it's pass protection, whether it's running, whether it's the dirty work, being physical. I saw a quote, Zach Martin said he's the epitome of this team, and I definitely believe that. Just with his physical play style, his willingness to do anything. He's a brother of mine. Obviously blessed to come in and be with him these last 7 years. I joked with him later in the game and said, you got Ferg jumping over people, man. You're an inspiration to guys. And he laughed. I'm like, we're 7 deep. You know what I'm saying? You should take that as a compliment. So he's no surprise when Zeke does Zeke things.
Michael Gilpin, Dallas Morning News. Not to change the tone, but 4 false start penalties today. You guys have 14 of them in 6 home games. What do you make of that area and the need to improve it?
Yes, definitely a need to improve. We've got to be better in just the discipline, the focus. Obviously, when you're on the ball, there's a lot of communication, a lot of things happening. It wasn't the same guy over and over, obviously, so that's a good thing. But in the same sense, it shows how heightened our focus has to be each and every play. With so much communication going on, a lot of dummy calls, a lot of real calls, and just being locked in to the cadence. We can't have that. And when we have that, all of those drives, all of those penalties hurt us on those drives in some way or not. So we just got to be better. We've got to continue to go back to work, clean that up, clean up the communication. It starts with me, and we will get better at it.
The Giants defensive coordinator. You too. David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Understanding you only look one game at a time, but this ends a stretch of 3 games in 12 days. Can you talk about how you responded after losing that first game today and just how you come back and finish this off here?
Well, I mean, obviously 3 different opportunities. You know, the first one, losing in overtime, and then, probably playing our best game of the year last week or 4 days ago. And just really, getting ready for this game was a challenge. And I'm obviously New York was, from what it sounds like, obviously a number of guys that left home, but we had a half a dozen or so guys that were fighting through an illness, and and it's important for us to get healthy over the weekend and really all the way up till Wednesday. So so we'll look at some Zoom calls and things like that for next week, because it's it's a flu and cold season, and we were hit pretty good the last couple of days. So just obviously proud of the team for getting it done today. Division game, a lot of back and forth. And I know we're going to get into it, but to win a game when you have 2-1 penalties of your opponent, that's obviously not where you want to be. But I think it speaks to our ability or our capability as a team. So the penalties, particularly you had the holdings, both on both sides of the ball, and you just go back through it. I thought the halftime was good as far as the adjustments. I like the way we came out of halftime, but it's the self-inflicted wounds we need to minimize, and you obviously want to eliminate them, but we first thing we got to do is cut it in half. I mean, we played the Giants twice, and I think we had 11 penalties the first game, 13 today. I mean, that's just so we'll take a hard look at it as a staff, but excellent division win, game we had to have, and I love the fight of the team, and really tried to break their method. And one of the things I'm talking about is controlling the ball was a big focus for us today, and I thought Kellen did a really good job staying patient. I thought Dan stayed aggressive, so a lot of good things, but just the self-inflicted wounds we gotta improve and learn from today's mistakes.
Tim.
Tim Kalistrow, Dallas Morning News. Happy Thanksgiving also.
Thank you.
Did you put 4 tight ends on the goal line just so they could play whack-a-mole after the touchdown? Is that by design? And more seriously, you have a lot of success with 3 tight end sets, and nobody else really does that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, I love the multiple tight end sets because, it gives you the ability to play 2 back, 1 back, or no backs, offense. And that's really how I look at offense. And, just the wrinkles that we're able to do off of that too. Obviously the jet sweep to Henny there was a good play, especially after they packed it in on us on the early 4th down on the 93 ISO. So, yeah, it gives you flexibility. If you go back to earlier in the season, we were playing with 21 players on offense, and we only had 3 tight ends up. So, really getting Sean McKeon up every week has been huge for us because we can alternate those guys. And as you know, the body type for special teams, that's what you're looking for. You can't have enough 6'4", 250-pound men on your football team because it creates favorable matchups in special teams too. So I'm a big fan of the tight end position because frankly, next to the quarterback, it's the most demanding position as far as job responsibility. If is their involvement in the run, the protection, and the pass. So it's been very useful for us this past month.
One more tight end question. Did you have a good view of Ferguson jumping over the safety?
I was just teasing him in the locker room because I had a great view of it. And I said the only reason why I didn't try to jump over the first guy, he was so damn tired, or the second guy was so damn tired from jumping over the first guy. So, but no, it's, yeah, you get away with it once or twice, but yeah, so he needs to drop his pads more. So.
Mike, you mentioned in your opening answer just about the halftime adjustments. You had a little extra time because of the halftime show today. Can you talk about some of the adjustments, and some of it was it guys fighting through the illness and that little extra time helped at all? Or
yeah,
not?
I thought the rotation was really good. I mean, and I can go back to what I just said in the earlier comment was the ability to we knew they were going through challenges too with their with their numbers and their players coming into it. So time of possession was a real focal point, and they've been very, very good in that area. I mean, you look at their production throughout the season. They've done an excellent job of holding the ball and controlling the clock, and and winning tight games in the fourth quarter. So we're comfortable slugging it out to the fourth quarter, and you have to be if you're going to play that kind of game. But we just felt time of possession was key, was going to be a key characteristic to this victory today.
Edwin Henderson, Gilmer Mirror, and Coach, first off, happy Thanksgiving and congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
Your thoughts on Dalton Schultz's performance today, as well as C.D. Lamb's? Fantastic job by both those guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously with the attention we're getting in the run game, we know we're going to have some opportunities to have one-on-ones, and CD made some huge plays, down the field, people all over him. So I just think it shows his athletic ability. I thought it was a tremendous effort on the no catch that we challenged for a possible touchdown, because I didn't have a clean view of it just based off the information, so I really wasn't sure if he did get the heel down or not, but I did know that he had the front part of his foot in based on what we saw up top. So and Dalton is just and he's just such a steady, consistent. You can see the connection between him and Dak. So both those guys had nice games today.
Anybody else? David?
Mike, how did you have to, with so many guys, especially in the defensive line, how big of an alteration did you have with your rotation and what you were doing on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, we're just trying to roll those guys and keep them fresh. Because we've had a couple decisions that we went up to the 90, So until every player arrived here, and they did a great job of getting here a little extra early today. So just to make sure the medical staff and they had a chance for potential IVs and all those things. So, but yeah, the rotation. Going back to the time of possession, with the offense, controlling the ball in the run game, I think it definitely really helped us in our rotation, particularly on the defensive line.
Dak in the second.